my name is Zinni and I am here today to do the Totally Should've book tag. This tag was created by emmmabooks. I don't think I was tagged by anyone to do this, but it's been going around the booktubes lately and I really want to do it. So without further ado, let's get into the question. The first question is totally should have got a sequel. And for this one, I have chosen The Exile by Diana Gabaldon, and this is a graphic novel of the first sort of third of Outlander, the, amazing series by Diana Gabaldon. You should know by now because I talk about it all the time. But this is kind of a cop-out answer because this is only a third of Outlander. So I want a sequel so we can finish off the rest of the entirety of the Outlander book. Duh. So yeah, I couldn't also think of anything else. I racked my brain for so long trying to figure out a standalone that I read that I wanted a sequel of, but I didn't want to destroy some of the standalones I've read. Question 2 is totally should have had a spin-off series, and I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon like everyone else and go with Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling because duh, I didn't know what else to pick as well, but Harry Potter, who doesn't want one? Everyone wants Marauders or the founding Hogwarts people, because I totally want either one of those. I don't even care. But literally everyone wants Harry Potter and I don't blame them. I think this is a very valid answer. I'm hoping if enough people choose it that we might get something. If everyone chooses Harry Potter, it's gonna work out some way in an amazing way. So I'm picking Harry Potter like everyone else. Question 3 is an author who should totally write more books, and for this one I'm choosing Diana Gabaldon again because she only has the Outlander series and a few other sort of historical things in the same era and time period as Outlander, so I'd really like to see her do a different type of series, whether it be, again, a historical fiction or in just a different time or a different place. I would really love to read some more of her books because she has such in-depth discussions and descriptions and everything in her books that are just amazing. So I'd really love to see her write a different series. That would be really awesome. Question 4 is a character who should totally have ended up with someone else. And for that one, I'm choosing Alina from the Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. She's our main character in this series, and I don't like who she ended up with. It's the choice. It makes sense throughout the whole thing for her to end up with this guy, but I wanted her to end up with someone else in the series. If you've read it, I'm talking about the other dude that comes into book 2. So that person, I think it's pretty obvious who the other choice would be. But yeah, I just thought that the love interest in the third book was really not cool. It was such a downer. It was annoying. I was like, no, I don't want you to end up with him, but she did. I do not OTP this, which is one of the first times that I actually feel that way. Question 5 is totally should have ended differently, and for this one I'm choosing a pretty obvious one that most people would choose, but not for the reasons you would think. I'm choosing Allegiant, which is the third book in the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. I'm choosing this one not because of the big event that happens, you would know if you've read it, and most people know anyway. It was just a sucky book. It was just boring, and just even after the event happened, nothing happened. I wanted more world building. I know we sort of got a little bit of that more in the second one and in this book, but I just feel like we didn't get enough of what happened, and especially with the movies coming out now and it's completely different, it just confuses the hell out of me, and I didn't like it. It was boring and nothing much happened. I feel like they needed just to explain more about what was going on in the world. I didn't enjoy this book at all, so that's probably why, half the reason I chose this, because it was boring and I hated it, so that's why it should end differently. Question 6 is totally should have had a movie franchise, and for this one I have 2 answers, which also goes along with the next question. So I'll first start off what I sort of half choose, and that is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, and this one has already been optioned for a movie. I actually helped in trying to fund for the movie. I'm hesitant about it because I love this book so much and I don't want them to destroy it with a movie, but again, then I have said I have helped to try and make this a movie, and I think it's still a bit unsure. I think it's happening. I'm pretty sure that I saw in a Colleen Hoover interview not too long ago that she said it was happening. They're gonna cast a female for Tate in this book, so that's kind of exciting, but I'm also really nervous about that because I don't want them to stuff it up. My other option for this is the Tomorrow series by John Marsden. We have got the first movie that came out years and years ago, and this is an Australian book series set in Australia where this military force, which is undefined, but in the movie it was of Asian descent, come and take on a small town in New South Wales, I believe it is. So we have the first movie and then we're going to make more. I think there's about 7 books in the series, and then there's also like a separate spin-off Ellie Chronicles series. But I just really want them to make the rest of them because it was such a great series. I read this when I was about 13, I think, and I read about 5 books. It is a really hard-hitting, depressing thing, but I think it would be great for a movie to continue on the movie series, or even for this next question, which I will tell you right now. So question 7 is totally should have a TV show. And again, the Tomorrow series I think wouldn't be bad for a TV show as well. To be Australian based and everything would be fabulous because we don't have a lot of TV shows and those sorts of things. So I think, yeah, if they did continue the movies, I would love them to make a TV show of this. But my other answer for the TV show question would be the Off the Page and Between the Lines series by Jodie Picoult and Samantha Van Leer. And this one is about a girl who's obsessed with a storybook where she could talk to the characters that are inside the book, and she falls in love with one of the prince characters in this book. And I think that would be a really interesting concept for a TV show. There's only the 2 books in the series, it's only a duology, but I think it would still be really cool. It would just be such a different sort of series. I feel like it'd be a little Once Upon a Time, a little bit like. So I think it'd be a really cool TV show to be optioned. It was a really sort of fantastic and fantasy and all sorts of cool things that would actually probably be really great on screen. So I would really love this to be a TV show. Question 8 is totally should have had just one point of view. There's a lot of books that I could have chosen that I realized had dual points of view that I found rather annoying. But one that sticks out to me in particular was the books Origin and Opposition in the Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. These are the last 2 books in the series, and they split between 2 of our main characters, I guess, and I just found it annoying that it was 2 full books of having like splitting either chapters or like mid chapters splitting the points of view, and I don't really like splitting points of view full stop. There's a lot of books that do it and it's just sort of annoying, I think, because sometimes you forget which character is talking, or it's just weird to swap the he's and the she's constantly and you're like and just sometimes it just disrupts the flow of the storytelling because, I don't know, each person is different and you know you just want to sort of stick with the same person and their issues. Question 8 is a book that totally should have a cover change, and for this one I didn't have any particular answer. Lots of the books I have already had cover changes, or because they're the Australian version or the UK edition, same thing, they have a lot of different covers anyway, so I can't think of any particular one that I have that I would change because lots of them have been changed anyway, so I don't really have an answer for this one. Question 10 is a book series that totally should have kept the original covers, and for this one there was a no-brainer. I have the Across the Universe series by Beth Revis, and this is the first amazing, beautiful book. I can't seem to get my hands on the second one. A lot of people have the beautiful A Million Suns cover, but I can't seem to get my hands on it because of the cover change. And then they changed the third one to some horrible green thing that doesn't match the size, and that's personally my cover edition, but I think it doesn't match the size. It's not shiny, it's not pretty like, and it's very disappointing because this is honestly such a beautiful cover, and so is the A Million Suns cover, which I will put here so you can see it. So then they changed the rest of the book, so the last book doesn't match at all, and it hurts the soul of every booktuber ever because you know it does. And lastly, question 11 is a book that totally should have stopped at one book. I had to look through all the books that I read, and when I saw this one I was like, that one, and that is The Rain by Virginia Burgeon, and I read this on Kindle start of last year, and oh my god, it was so painful. Okay, so it's about this deadly rain. It's also called H2O in the US, and it's about this girl named Ruby, and there's this deadly rain, and if it touches you, it kills you. It's like acid, and she basically is just trying to survive this apocalyptic rain, and everyone she knows dies, and it's just miserable, and she's just miserable old sod trying to live and find people, and it was really boring and horrible and sad. And then they made a second one called The Storm, which I shall not be reading because what else can they even say? Like, what, she's gonna go find someone? I think her whole goal in the first book was to go and find her dad who lives somewhere else or something or other. So I think the second book is about finding her dad, but she thinks he's dead, and I just don't even care. It was just so stupid. I hated that book so much, and they've made a second one, which I'm not reading. So that was the Totally Should Have tag, and it was a lot of fun. It's cool to just speculate and make up things that should have happened or like could happen. So thank you, Emma Books, for this amazing tag. Haven't thought of anyone to tag. You are tagged because I didn't think to tag anyone as usual because I'm useless. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Night filming is weird. Do you like my new setup though? I have a new bookshelf down here. Right, let me tilt the camera. Let me tilt the camera. Oh man, that was a big tilt. So I have some new bookshelf here. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It totally should have... Question 3 is an author who should totally write another book series. Question 4 is a character who should have totally... Question 4 is a character who's Question 4... Oh, I've forgotten her name. Character peoples. What? Question 9 is a cover series that... Damn it. I never remember to tag people.